man. And again, I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day. And hopefully we don't have any. It is like about to start storming like crazy here, so hopefully we don't have any interruptions with lightning or thunder. But
Where are you at, by the way?
I'm in Alabama.
Alabama. Okay.
Yeah, in Tuscaloosa. So roll tide.
Okay. Cool.
Awesome, man. So not too long ago, just a few months ago, we were at No Excuses, and you got up on stage. You gave an awesome. By the way, you have an amazing stage presence. That was super cool. I don't know if you have a history of speaking from stage, but yeah, I mean, you just got up there and everything from your tone to inflection, everything, like just the whole stage presence was killer, man. So
thanks, man. I appreciate that. Well, I was a music teacher for many years, and so I'm kind of used to being in front of groups teaching, and for me, it was just kind of like that,
I gotcha. Awesome, man. So so cool. So you received the award. For the folks that weren't there, you received the award for being our #1 affiliate from 2014 through 2015. And you might actually know off the top of your head, I should have written it down. It was a very impressive figure. It was, do you recall the exact number?
Yeah, I believe it was right over $240,000.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was like 243, like 97, or what I mean? It was like
that. Yeah.
So, which is incredible, and what a lot of people don't know, and this is what I think is so impressive, is not only did you start in this industry not that long ago, so you were pretty much brand new to this space, really not that long ago, but then also what makes it even more impressive is that you have a full-time day job, if you will. I mean, you run your own photography studio, which takes a very considerable portion of your time, and so you've done so much with really a limited time frame. You've sort of done this in a part-time capacity. I know you probably spent a little bit more time when you were first getting started, and probably now things are a little bit more automated and on autopilot because you've created so many cool systems in your business. I'd like to start with asking, tell us a little bit more about when you got started, because it really, and this is what's so cool, it didn't take you long at all. It was only a few months before you were creating a 5-figure monthly income. And then again, from 2014 to 2015, you earned, again, almost $250,000, and
Right.
You were very, very new not that long ago. So tell us a little bit about when you got started, how you first sort of got introduced to this industry in Elite Marketing Pro, and kind of walk us through that.
Sure. So I came from the network marketing space originally, and I still am involved in network marketing, and I still think that that's a viable part of my overall business model. But I came kind of looking for other ways to create leverage and automation in my business, and I knew that the internet could provide that. I just didn't really know how. And you're right. So this would have been late 2013. I believe I came online around September of 2013. Tried a couple of other programs. Didn't really see a lot of success. It wasn't really the program's fault. I just didn't really develop the skills. And I kind of spent a little bit of time searching and figuring out what in the world I was doing. And I guess it was probably late 2013 that I stumbled across Elite Marketing Pro. And, I wished that the fact that Elite Marketing Pro now has this Ignition coaching program, I wished I would have had something like that, because you're right, I did succeed pretty quickly, but I figured a lot of stuff out on my own. If I had had a coach, because for me, the motivation was there to take the action. And I know there's a lot of people out there, and I just had to kind of wade through the waters of confusion for a while until I figured it out. And if I had had a coach that I knew I could trust, that I knew could guide me along the right path, that would have been I believe I would have seen success even faster. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I've got team members now inside of Elite Marketing Pro who I've referred, and I've taught them certain things. And I mean, they're getting sales within their first couple of weeks or months, as opposed to me. It was really 5 to 6 months before I started seeing any traction. So that was kind of where I came from. And, for me, it was just figuring it out And I'm just so grateful for the new folks who come in that they've got that ignition coaching program to really give them clarity.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the cool things about our coaches, I'll talk them up for a second, is and I know you've met them, and they are just like really, really solid individuals. I mean, they're just such great people.
They are.
Like our coaches are so cool. Every time I get a chance to interact with them or hang out with them, I'm like, man, these are like such good folks. I mean, you feel so good about everything going on with Ignition, because you know that folks are being so well taken care of and they're getting such awesome advice. And so that's
Yep.
really cool. And as you mentioned, when you're first starting, just having someone to tell you what to focus on is so huge. And that's something I'd like to discuss a little bit is, if there were any kind of shifts. One thing that you do that I think is so powerful and inspiring is you really lead with so much value. If anyone has checked out any of your marketing, if anyone's been to your site, you just provide a ton of really, really awesome value. And I'm wondering if there's anything you'd like to say about kind of the mindset of leading with value, and kind of what were some of the big shifts when you were first getting started, that really helped you. You mentioned the motivation was there, and a lot of people really are motivated, but there's something that kind of stops them. And it could be a certain amount of confusion or indecision, because there are so many essentially choices for how to start building a business. But you seemed very clear, and I don't know how long it took you to get clarity on what your traffic strategy, for instance, was going to be, and your content creation strategy. I wonder if you could talk a little bit about that and kind of that process and your mindset through that period of time.
Sure. Well, a couple of things. First of all, for me, picking a traffic strategy, one of the things that I see a lot of people mess up when they come in is they say, what's the best traffic strategy? And as if the traffic strategy is what's going to make them successful. And it is simply, learning traffic is a very important skill that needs to be learned. For me, the reason and I've said this a lot to my students, the reason I've succeeded so quickly is because I just got out there and I took action. I didn't really know what I was doing, but I was willing to fail forward. And so I just picked a strategy that I thought would fit me and my personality. For me, that was video marketing, YouTube. And so that was kind of what I went with, and I ran with it. In the beginning, I was really bad at it, as you will be at anything when you first get started. I know of very few people who come into this industry and are great at it. I mean, my kids weren't great at riding a bike when they first got on a bike, but the more they got on, they fell off. They finally figured out how to do it correctly. And I did the same thing with with learning this business. And so for me, it was really picking something that I thought resonated with me and then just taking action. So that was, I'd say that was really the first thing. And then it was just continuing to go even whenever I fell down and I didn't get the results that I wanted. Because to me, I've always viewed failure is just a stepping stone to success. It's just, if I failed at one thing, it's not even like failure. It's just I've learned one more way not to do it. I've learned, okay, that didn't work. I can now step past that and don't do that again. Now I move on to try something else. And it's really just the tenacity of saying, I'm going to keep going. And then, as far as otherwise, to me, it was just a matter of, I've always believed that, Zig Ziglar says, you can have everything you want in life if you help enough other people get what they want in life. And for me, it was just about forgetting about the money for a moment and just saying, how can I just help other people? Because whenever you position yourself that way, like, I want to help, because, I mean, guys, this world is so full of bullshit, pardon my French, but people's bullshit meter is so high these days. It's like they don't know who in the world to believe. It's like there's so many scams and things all over the internet that I just kind of felt like I just needed to take a different approach to say, hey, look, whether you buy or you don't buy, I'm just here to help you. And what was amazing was whenever I did start putting out that value and just genuinely helping people, next thing I knew, I was the #1 affiliate, and all I was really doing was just teaching people. And that brings me really to my third point, which was, I have found for me, yes, I was teaching things to other people from a position of, yes, I believe this will help them. But there was also a selfish element to it as well. And let me explain what I mean. I have always learned that whenever I teach something, I understand it 1,000 times better. It is the number one way for me to create understanding for myself. So whenever I go through a product or a book or a course, I try to go through it from a mindset that I'm not just going to learn this. I want to try and learn it from a position that I'm going to turn around and I have to teach it to somebody else. And I said, instead of just saying, like theoretically, I have to teach it to somebody else one day, I would turn around and I would really teach it. I would create these little pieces of content, a YouTube video or a blog post where I just taught something that I learned. And not only was I being selfless by giving that knowledge to other people, I was being a little selfish because I said, whenever I teach this, I create an understanding that I would not have if I just read the book or if I just went through the course. And that's really how I've become so skilled and so knowledgeable. It's because I teach other people the things that I'm doing as I'm learning them. And that would be one of the things that I would recommend that you do. If, you know, especially even if you're new in your business, if you are, I mean, even if you've read one book or gone through one course inside of Elite Marketing Pro, you know something that the vast majority of people don't know. I mean, think about how many people out there, are have absolutely no idea what an autoresponder is. I mean, if you get in and you learn what an autoresponder is, you could teach somebody something. And so the goal is for you, your job is to teach the people who are not yet to your level. And because what I see from the mindset of a lot of people is they say, well, I'm not as smart as fill in the blank, you know, Tyson or Ray Higdon, or I don't have those results. Why would anybody listen to me? And the thing is, you're not trying to attract those people to you. I didn't attract those kinds of people to me when I first started. I attracted people who knew less than I did. And the more I've grown, the more I've attracted people who've said, wow, that guy really knows what he's talking about, who are also people who I look up to, you know, people who reach out to me and say, hey, we should form a partnership, you know, and people who I once looked at as my, you know, as my mentors, and I'm sharing a stage on them and winning awards right next to them. And that came from simply getting out there and learning little bits of information, increasing my value to the world and teaching that along the way.
That's awesome. I love that. One thing that I kind of want to reiterate is, you know, I've spoken with obviously hundreds of our affiliates, and, you know, there was a time where I was one of our coaches in the Ignition program. So I was speaking to all, you know, the new people that were coming into the system, and it's people just don't realize, and I understand, like I get it, but people don't realize that there's so many folks out there that are just, they're brand new, and, you know, they're looking for something different in their life, and they're so new to online marketing that if you've been around for any length of time, as Tyson was saying, if you've just read a book or if you've been on a webinar, you know something that a lot of people don't know.
Yep.
And you can definitely share that. And so that's super cool. You mentioned Ray Higdon. You know, Ray's you know, known for using the, you know, invest, learn, teach model. And so I think that's so powerful. It's you know, Ray's also one of our top affiliates. And you actually, speaking of being top affiliates, you just placed very highly in one of Ray Higdon's affiliate contests, right? You were pretty high up in the rankings, weren't you?
I was. I missed top 5 by one spot at the last second. A best-selling author came in and sent out an email to her list and knocked me off of the top 5 spot. But I landed in 6th place. I was in the top 4 for quite a while and kind of competing with some other folks. And yeah, I mean, to finish in 6th place in a big affiliate launch like that with so many people who have much more experience and much bigger lists than I do, to me, that should be encouragement to those people out there who say I'm brand new. I mean, remember, 2013, I didn't have a list. Nobody knew my name. Nobody in this space knew who I was. And a year and a half later, I'm speaking on stage with Ray Higdon. I'm speaking on stage with, you know, sharing the stage with Mike Dillard, people who I said, oh my God, those guys, I would one day aspire to be like them. And then I'm walking across the stage winning awards. And, you mentioned raise, invest, learn, teach. I teach a very, very similar strategy that I call the S3 strategy: study, share, suggest. And that's exactly how I got to the number 6 spot in his affiliate contest. I want you guys out there, if you're listening to this, to imagine simply developing a skill set to where you said, you know what, there's a product out there that I'm really passionate about. I would love to promote it over the next 2 weeks because it's launching, and I'd like to make a cool 10 grand. I mean, would that be cool in 2 weeks to make 10, 15 grand? Well, that's exactly what I did in Ray's launch. And all I did was I bought the course, which was $300 during the launch. Pretty good investment, $300 to turn that into 15 grand. I bought it for $300. And all I did was study, share, suggest. I studied the course. I said, what I just learned there was a really great tip I could share with people. I shared in a quick 5-minute video. And I said, hey, by the way, suggest, if you want to see more about where I learned this, check out this product called the 3-Minute Expert. That was my entire strategy. And you guys can do that. I mean, if you're an Elite Marketing Pro or any affiliate program, even if you're out marketing stuff that's on ClickBank, you can take that strategy, buy the course, study it, find one piece of information, share it, give value, and say, hey, by the way, if you want to learn more about where I got this and you want to dive deeper, check out this course. And then you're not a salesperson. You're like, you are like an advisor. You're an expert. You're a teacher. You're an authority because you taught them something. They go, wow, well, I think I'll go buy that thing because this person seems to know what he's talking about based on the knowledge you just shared with me.
Absolutely. And I would love to encourage folks too. You shared an awesome quarterly cover series in What's Working Now. And a lot of it had to do with the way that you structure not only providing value for all of your prospects, but also how you create funnels, how you create lead magnets, kind of how you run creating a ton of value, but also with an eye towards conversion. And so I definitely want to encourage all of our Elite Marketing Pro folks to check out Tyson's What's Working Now series. Really, really great content. You'll love it. It's in your training library at What's Working Now. And for the folks, I want to also plug, I mentioned at the very start of this conversation that you were obviously on stage at No Excuses, and you shared a really, I was super impressed with your stage presence. Can you share just a little bit about what you were talking about for the folks that couldn't be there from stage, and for the folks that might like to pick up the recordings, a little bit about what you were sharing on stage at No Excuses?
Gosh, yeah. I mean, what I kind of went through was my process for what I called the 3 pillars of my business. And I try to make it, I guess the short version is that I try to make my business to where there are multiple points of entry where somebody could come in to my business, because the thing that appeals to one person doesn't always appeal to another. And so what you see most people trying to do is they want to hammer people over the head with the same message or the same product over and over again. And they want to say, hey, do you want to buy Elite Marketing Pro? It's really awesome. You can make a bunch of money. And they say no, and they keep coming back with that same message. Hey, you didn't buy yesterday. You should buy now. And the people are like, no, I just told you I didn't want it yesterday. And I use this analogy of what I call whenever I market, I use what I call the what goes good with milk strategy. And my story being that, if I go to my grandmother's house and my grandmother were to say to me, hey, would you like a glass of milk? Because a grandmother believes I should drink milk. It's good for my bones, and she thinks it's going to make me healthy. She really wants to sell me milk, but she doesn't want to go overboard. So she says, would you like some milk? I say, no, thanks, Grandma. I'm not in the mood for milk. If she comes back 10 minutes later and says, hey, would you like some milk? I'm going to be like, no, I just told you I didn't want milk. And then if she comes back again and asks a third time, do you want milk? I'm going to be like, are you deaf or just trying to drive me crazy? And that's what most people are doing with their marketing, right? Oh, you didn't buy my thing yesterday. Here it is again. Well, how about now? And then people wonder why nobody listens to them and why they tune them out. So the analogy that I said would be a lot smarter for my grandmother would be to say, okay, he said no to milk. So the second time she comes back and she says, hey, would you like some apple pie? And I might go, no, I'm not really in the mood for apple pie. And she says, okay, that wasn't annoying because apple pie and milk are not the same thing. And then 15 minutes later, she comes back again and she says, you know, hey, I just baked a fresh batch of chocolate chip cookies. Would you like a plate of cookies? I might finally go, you know what? Cookies sound really delicious. I would love some. And she hands me a plate of cookies. And then she says, hey, by the way, do you know what would go great with those cookies? If you're thirsty, here's a glass of milk that you can dip your cookies in. And because my thirst is now there, because I took her up on a different offer, I may now take her up on the milk offer that I wouldn't have taken her up on previously. And this is really the strategy for how I've done my online marketing, right? Because, you know, whenever I'll go back to Ray's product launch. You know, whenever I was promoting the 3-Minute Expert, for some people, I talked to them about how to get more traffic to their website. And I talked about how positioning yourself as an expert and doing blogging can help you to get more traffic to your website. But then I said, okay, some people are not interested in traffic. Maybe these people are interested in growing their network marketing business. So I talked to network marketers and I said, do you know how much more easily you'll recruit and have less objections when your prospects see you as an authority, as an expert? And I would teach on that. That was a new angle. That was a new what goes good with milk strategy for the 3-Minute Expert. And then I went around another way and I said, hey, would you like to know how to get more of your website visitors to turn into leads? And so I talked about how to structure your lead magnet. Say, hey, by the way, Ray teaches exactly how to do this inside of this course. Go check it out. And then I would give them my affiliate link. So I had all of these different angles with which I could sell that offer. And you guys, what I love about Elite Marketing Pro is you've got all of these offers already done for you. I mean, you can bring them in through, hey, you're not interested in making money with Elite Marketing Pro. Well, what would you like to know how to do, you know, more video marketing? Well, here's the simple video script. It's a totally free download, so you never run out of things to talk about. Or you could go through something like, you know, the ultimate sales funnel, that Tim's course, and you could teach people how to create sales funnels. Or, I mean, any one little piece of there is a new angle to bring people in using the what goes good with milk strategy. So that was kind of the gist. That was the long version, but that was the gist of what I spoke on at Vegas.
I love it, man. And it was an amazing presentation. So if you don't have access to the No Excuses recordings, I would highly recommend checking it out. I mean, obviously there was a lot of great stuff from stage, but Tyson's presentation was on point and was killer. I definitely recommend you check it out. Speaking of on stage at No Excuses, and I know I got to let you go because you and the family are going to go enjoy the pool this afternoon, so I don't want to keep you any longer. But I do want to give you a final piece of recognition. You know, we presented an award to you on stage at No Excuses for being our #1 affiliate. Again, having made around $243-ish thousand in I believe a period of time of about 16 months, which is really cool. And you had, you know, like you said, you just started in late 2013, and so to, you know, be on stage, you know, sharing the stage with, you know, so many industry leaders. It's just super awesome, super inspiring. It really shows what's possible when you apply yourself and use these principles of leading with value and just taking massive action. So that's super, super cool, man. So I think you had actually the awards there with you.
I do. I actually got 2 awards. This one says top earner. There was a category of like 100,000 to 250,000 in commissions. So there's that award there. I don't know if you guys can read that or see it. There's my hand behind it so you can read it. And then this one was for, this one was the second one. And this one was for being the #1 affiliate for sales to the event, getting the most people to, you know, to the No Excuses event in Vegas, which is, by the way, an amazing event. If you have a chance to go to the next one, you should definitely attend or grab the recordings of the last one, because there was some major breakthrough stuff from that event.
Awesome. Yeah, no, I always say, I comment every year how it's funny that, you know, I think for most people probably going to a work sort of conference, you know, for me, obviously, you know, I'm here as a part of the Elite Marketing Pro team, and No Excuses is literally, it's like one of the highlights of the year. I look forward to it all year long, and I can't wait, and it just makes me so happy that that I'm in an industry where going to a like I said a quote unquote work
Yeah.
event is like such an amazing time with so many amazing people.
Well,
And so
and I'll tell those folks out there who, if you're thinking about ever attending any event, but I mean particularly the No Excuses event, it was just, just so much quality training there. But it's the training is great, but it's not even just the training. It is the relationships, honestly, the value that you get after that. You just can't substitute being there live and going to the after party events, the mixers, and because you get to actually sit down and talk to these people that you're like, oh my God, I see them online and they seem so amazing. I mean, I'm standing there talking to Mike Dillard. I'm standing there talking to Ray Higdon, picking their brains about stuff. I mean, I never would have thought I would have the chance to do that. And I'm forming relationships that, I mean, Ray and I have actually kept in touch, and, um, you know, there are relationships to be formed that can help you with your business as you move forward. Not to mention, you can probably extract a little bit more secret nuggets if you buy them a drink at the mixers afterwards. So you really cannot underestimate the power of being there live and networking with these people and getting your picture with some of the folks that you idolize. I mean, you put that stuff on your on your website, and as you associate yourself with these other people, it can increase your authority as well. So I really can't say enough for going to live events, and it'll help you to create major breakthroughs in your life and in your business.
absolutely agreed, man. Well, I will let you enjoy the rest of this fine afternoon with your family. Again, thanks so much for taking a minute to share with us here at Elite Marketing Pro, and congratulations again. You truly are an inspiration, and it was a pleasure, man. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, man. My pleasure. Thanks, Andrew. Have a good one.